Alright guys, how's it going today? So this will be kind of a update to what's been going on over the last couple days here. It's a lot of things have been going on, and yeah, so I'll give you guys a look at the sky, whatever you can see of it. There are clouds, but there's also this heavy thick layer of smoke, I guess from the wildfires up in Canada or something. I don't know. I think there's some more in North Dakota too, but I think they're under control. But I don't know. The air is very thick with smoke. You can smell it. It's kind of just, ugh. It's disgusting air. It's kind of hard to breathe at times. So, but it is what it is. So, I think we've had smoky years before, but I don't know if they've ever been quite this bad, but maybe they have been. So, but that's because we keep getting kind of a north wind all the time, so of course it carries all that smoke this way, and yeah, then it's going to be like this supposedly for the next few days, so. But whatever, doesn't really matter anyway, because it's been raining the last couple of days, too. We've been getting a lot of fucking rain, which is surprising. Can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. Can't quite remember, but we had a good thunderstorm roll through. Dumped exactly a half inch of rain. That's what my rain gauge says. I don't know what other gauges say around here, but mine said half an inch, so, but that's probably what we just got, maybe, over us, too, I don't know. Hell, even at the farm, it could be different, who knows, but, so we got a good soaker of rain, and it's spitting right now, but luckily it's just a spit, and it's not a downpour. On the map, it looks a little worse, like it's gonna actually rain, but I don't know, right now it's just kind of a light spit, so, but, whatever. It's kind of, it's good news for us, but it's kind of bad news in a way, because the young guy never got to finish baling that ditch over there. That was the only thing that was left here to bale, and then they were going to be done here, and then they were going to, I guess, go do other stuff, so, but that hay on that little ditch field over there, that's been sitting there for quite a few days. I don't know. It might have. I mean, I don't know. It'll be up to him. But if it doesn't, if it gets hot again, it might dry out. But I think it's going to end up molding at some point. You know, if we get too much rain, and if he doesn't feel like having it flipped, which if he wants it flipped, well, he can either bring one of his rakes down, or I can go out there and rake it for him. Because it's not a very big piece. It probably won't take me like maybe an hour and a half, you know, at a good speed to flip it. So it wouldn't be the end of the world, you know. But I think it's gonna, if it doesn't dry out soon, it's gonna get moldy. But I don't know. But we'll see how things go. But that's the only thing that's left over here for him to bale. Then that's it, and then he's done here. So other stuff he has to do would be, I guess, on the North Dakota side. I think he's got fields over there too that he does, but I think they're further from home, so they kind of get put on the back burner for a little bit. So but doesn't matter. So but yeah, so the other thing that's going on is what happened, I guess, a couple of days ago. I did make a video about it, but then I ended up deleting it because it was a long video and I didn't feel like uploading it. We had another calf a couple of days ago. One of my uncle's cows again. So he's got two calves on the ground now, and this second one's a bull too. So he's got two bulls running around now. So he technically should have two more yet that should possibly calve. I don't know, we're questioning that one, but we know of another one that should be calving. And there's another one there, that second one there, her milk bag isn't even full yet, so either she's not pregnant or she's just going to fill in later. Maybe it's going to be a while yet before she does calf. But my first cow, R1, her milk bag's been full for about a week and she hasn't done anything yet, so I don't know if she's going to calve or what. So, I don't know. So, and then we have R2, which, you know, we're not going to do anything with her. So, yeah. So our herd's getting a little bit thin right now just because we have 2 cows locked up in the barn. And then if we get rid of R2, which the young guy's still thinking of what to do with her, there's not going to be many cows that are going to be roaming on that piece that we're borrowing for hay, so not going to be too many cows on there. So that's going to probably, well, it might slowly grow back in. I imagine it's doing some growing now, because I noticed that after that ½ inch of rain that we got, you can tell that my grass is already starting to turn green. It's trying to come back. So maybe it still looks kind of brown, but it's trying now. So you're always going to have some dead spots. That's just the way it is. Like over here, it looks fucked up on the camera. I don't know why it's doing that, but that's a dead spot. But it's trying to turn green. But I just think some of the grass is older, so then it's not going to do as good. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. So, but yeah. So now we're getting rain that, you know, we just can't get rid of the fucking rain yet. So, and I haven't even hauled trees yet because I took some trees down. There was one that was along the tree line, which I didn't even realize was there, but it was in the way for. It wasn't in the way for the cutter. He was able to snake the cutter under it, but then when the baler come by, the baler wasn't going to be able to pick it up. So that was a little bit of hay that got wasted, but I went and picked that up and threw it on another windrow, so it did get baled up anyway. But so that tree was sketchy as hell because it was a severe leaner. It's like it had tons of weight on it, and it just kind of kept, you know, slowly pulling it down, which I don't know. But then it kind of looked like it's bent the most. It looks like there's a crack going through it. So I'm thinking that tree was cracking. It was just, either it was just too much weight out there for it, or it just, you know, it's an older tree and maybe it's just finally kind of giving up the ghost a little bit. So that tree was a little sketchy to cut down. But I cut it down. I cut it in half because it's too big to carry on the road in one big giant piece. So I cut it in half, and then I got 2 trees laying down on the trail because I took 2 of those trees down because I got one that was hitting the tractor cab, and I know that because it ripped my antenna off the roof and damaged my antenna for my GMRS radios. So, and then it broke the tail light too, the old one when I had it on there. Of course I replaced it now with an LED, but so I cut that tree down. I cut that thing in half because, again, it's too long, so it's not going to fit on the roads very well. And then there was another one that I saw. I figured, you know what, he's going to be a problem probably next year, so I might as well save himself the bullshit and cut him down because he was getting kind of low too. The branches were so I got trees to haul, but I don't want to haul them, you know, when the ground's wet. Imagine it's okay-ish now, you know, since we haven't really had much for rain since that one day when I got that ½ inch, but that was a couple days ago, I think. So, and for how dry the ground was, I imagine it, you know, it took every bit of that. So, but now we're getting this spitting going on, so that's gonna add to the moisture, because I don't know, we might not even get much out of that either. So who knows? It can, who knows? She's gonna it's either going to rain or it's just going to spit like this. Well, if it spits, then it ain't going to really do much. It's not gonna dampen anything really, unless it did it for like 3 days straight. But I don't know. So, but we'll just have to, I guess, take it one day at a time. I imagine the young guy's kind of a little bit upset too. Imagine he wants to get that hay fucking baled so he can move the baler somewhere else now. So I don't know. If we get a couple days of good sun there, it might dry out, but I don't know. It might start molding underneath. But I mean, he's got a rake, so he can go flip it if he had to. So, or just fucking bale it and I guess hope for the best. I don't know. That's his hay, so that's up to him what he wants to do with it. But if that was my hay, you know, and if I knew there was going to be a couple of good days coming up, I probably would have went out there and flipped it, so then it would, you know, dry a lot quicker. Make sure the top was dry, and then if it was, you know, flip the bottom over so then you can get the bottom to dry out and try to bale it as soon as possible. Because I think that's been on the ground for quite a while now. So, but what are you going to do? We've had years like that too, you know, like last year and the year before, even for our hay. It was on the ground a little bit longer than I would have liked it, but at least I was able to kind of help, you know, fight it too with the rake. I went out there and raked some of that, so kind of helped. We were able to get it dry a lot quicker and baled a lot quicker, so, because I don't want piss poor quality hay. I don't know what the young guy wants, but I don't want crappy hay. It's bad enough. What we're getting now is not great stuff, you know. It's good, but it ain't great. It's not like alfalfa or something, you know, so, but, whatever, no big deal. So, but it is nice to get some rain, though, because, you know what, I noticed that the hayfield's starting to turn green again. Not saying that we're going to ever be able to get a second cutting off it, because it's just, you know, not enough rain now. So, but it's nice to know that, you know, if it did grow back in, and let's say the ex-mayor's field there, because that's what we're using now to have that's what our cows are roaming on. If they should ever eat all that into nothing, well, then I got to pull the cows off that, because there's nothing there for them. I'm not going to have them strip it down to dirt, so they would have to go out into the hayfield, you know, and eat stuff out there. Even if it grew back, you know, even just maybe 3 or 4 inches, you know, it's maybe kind of like my lawn would, you know. So, I mean, if it grew back that much, and because, you know, the ex-mayor's field, that's a pretty big chunk, and it's big enough for cows, but it's not really worth, you know, cutting for hay. So, if we took that same size of fence and put it out into the hayfield, it's not going to do the whole thing. But, you know, it's a decent chunk, so, you know, and you just leave them on there for a couple of weeks, and then you slide the fence over. It's all you can do. I'd have to get a solar-powered energizer, but I don't really plan on buying one, really. I'm hoping that the ex-mayor's piece will last, you know, at least a good chunk of the summer. So, I don't know. It could last a little longer yet, because like I said, we're getting less cattle on there now, because we got 2 locked up in the barn, and if I get rid of my second cow, that's technically 3 cows that are not eating on that field. So, then if R1 explodes, well, then she's going to have to get locked up, and then if the other cow gets, you know, if they calf, well, then there's not going to be anybody out there then, because they're all going to be locked up in a pen, because they have to be. So, at least for, you know, for a week, you know, or even just a few days, just to make sure that the babies get that first drink of that milk, because that first drink of the milk is extremely important for them. So, I guess if they don't get that, well, then you would have to give them, you know, powdered milk that has it, and stuff's expensive. Because we've had to buy milk replacer in the past, because we've had cows that wouldn't accept their calf or whatever. And I think it's like 60 or 70 bucks for a big, I don't even know how big the damn bags are. They're fairly big. A milk replacer, you know, it's powdered, and just mix it to water and they drink it. So, but that stuff's expensive and we don't really want to have to buy it unless we absolutely have to. That's why we don't really keep any in stock, because I think that stuff can go bad after a while and it's a waste of money. You know, if you buy a $60, $70 bag of milk replacer and it just sits for a year or two and you don't use it for nothing, and then it expires, you know, then you just waste $60, $70 or even more. So you might as well just not keep any in stock and just get it when you absolutely need to get it. So usually the vets always have that in stock. So we've never really had an issue for not getting a bag. We were always able to get at least one bag. So, but whatever, it's no big deal. But yeah, so it's good to know that we have at least 2 calves on the ground. I would like to see more. There would have been 3 already if R2 would have had her calf normally, you know, but since that's not going to happen, she has to go. So now I'm looking for a replacement cow, which, you know, if R1 would explode, well, then I would just get my replacement heifer out of her, then wouldn't be a huge deal. Then I wouldn't have to spend money, but I probably would like to buy another cow, because I'm not getting anywhere, it seems like. So, but yeah, I gotta have a certain amount of cows or calves to really justify for me to have to buy hanging equipment, because I know I've been talking about that too. Is, you know, there is a couple of balers out there I'm looking at. There's a couple of cutters I'm looking at, and I can't justify pulling the trigger on them if we're not going to have calves, you know, to make it worthwhile. So, but we have 2 bulls, so we technically only would need 1 more to make me justify buying haying equipment. But I don't know. The more the merrier, obviously. But you know, I set a goal for at least 3. If we get over that one, that's just great news. But if it's just going to be 3, well, it'll do. But I'd like to see more. And we should be having more, but I don't know. That one cow, I don't know. She's not looking like she's pregnant, so there's her milk bag hasn't gotten big yet. But she may not calf for another couple of weeks, for all the hell we know. So we're just going to, I guess, wait it out, see what happens, and see what happens. So... but that's what's going on anyway. Couple calves on the ground, and haying is done. I don't know if I've said this or not, but we got a total of 90 bales off our field. And like I said, in the way that one kid cut it, he cut it kind of goofy, so it kind of threw me off, because I kind of would like to keep the new hay separate from the old hay, just so I can kind of, you know, see how they're doing, you know, separately. So, but he thought it would be a great idea to cut it as like all one big field, which, I mean, I guess is fine. I mean, it's probably quicker baling that way, but it's not that great either, because then you really can't count the number of good bales versus the old bales, because they're mixed now. So, but the way I figure it, there's at least in the new hayfield there, just that big piece alone, there's 10 bales there, and then there's 80 bales everywhere else, you know, for the rest of the field. So that's not terrible, I guess. We don't end up with 90 bales this year, but, you know, that still means that we're not going to get, you know, the same number that we got last year. And of course, I got a little extra just because I stacked up all the young guys' hay for him. So I don't know if he's going to have him do that again this year or not. He hasn't even talked about it, so I don't know. You know, if he even plans on doing that this year or not. I still want to try to find a 3-point bale mover for the mine, but I can't find them. I find bale spears, which is fine, but the problem with bale spears is that you can only stab them one way, or at least with pallet or bale movers, they're basically just like pallet forks, and you can grab them any direction, it doesn't matter. And that's what the young guy gave me last year when I was moving his hay. It was actually a bale mover. It wasn't a bale spear. So I wouldn't mind finding another one like what he's got, but I think I only ever found one on eBay. And there's no way I was ever going to get that here because they didn't offer shipping for it. So, because it's a big clumsy item too. It would cost a fortune to have it, you know, shipped. So you would have to go get it when that was beyond my distance of going to get stuff. So, but yeah, I thought I found a couple of websites that were also selling bale movers that I actually, you know, I liked, but they're not there anymore. So I don't know if they quit making them or they're not selling them anymore. Maybe somebody else is selling them now. I don't know. But I don't know. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but what are you gonna do? So, but yeah. So that's what's going on there. So I guess we'll see how much rain we get here, but I hope we don't get much. But we always could use more rain, but I think we need a little bit of a break now because, you know, I got things I want to do. I got things to finish, and I can't even finish because it's the ground. I don't want to drive the tractor out in the hayfield and, you know, and get it like all muddy or make ruts in the field if the ground's too soft. The 4-wheeler didn't make any ruts, but you know, the 4-wheeler's light too, so it's not going to really do much. The 1586 would just sink like a rock, so I'd rather just try to stay away from it if possible. So, but I went out there yesterday and I went and cut those trees up. I hear kids hollering. But yeah, I cut those trees up like I said, just so they're not, I mean, so they're ready to be hauled now, but it's just whenever the fuck I can get out there and do it. And yes, the TA cable, or the TA is still broken. Like I said, I don't know what that is. I think it's just a cable. You know, like I said, I haven't even looked into it because I don't know what's wrong with it, but it could be just the cable broke, or maybe it just come undone. I don't know. I've never looked. So I know AJ said that if it's not the cable and it's actually something internal, then that's going to cost big bucks. Well, if that's going to cost big bucks, then that damn thing can just stay broke then. I'm not going to deal with it. I'll just upshift my gears and try to use the higher gears to make up for whatever the TA takes away from it. So the damn thing can just stay broke. And even if I did have the money to, you know, replace the parts, who's going to replace the parts? Because I imagine that's something I can't do. You know, the young guy, yeah, sure, maybe he could do it because he knows these tractors inside out. But, you know, it's haying season right now, and he's going to say just that's a wintertime project. Okay, fine, we could put it off to winter, but then when winter comes, it'll probably never happen because then he's busy doing other stuff. So he's a hard guy to get a hold of to do stuff too, you know. So, and I'm not going to take my tractor to like Case IH or something to have them do it because I know they're really gonna sock it to me then. But unfortunately, if it comes down to, like, say, if the clutch ever goes out, which I hope it doesn't for quite some number of years, but the more you use that tractor, then obviously the more wear and tear you're putting on the clutch. But if it comes down to that, well, then, you know, that the clutch needs to be replaced. Unfortunately, I will have to go to Case IH because I don't have the tools to split a tractor. I don't have a shed to put them in to do that because I'm not doing it out in the weather. The young guy will probably be too busy to do it. So, and the company that I used to deal with over where my bank is at, they're no longer even in business. They went out of business. Well, they didn't go out of business. They just decided to close up shop at the beginning of the new year. So they're no longer there. That's where I got that new rim from, and where I had them do a few other things to the tractor. And that's where I was going to buy that one loader from, but it never happened. But yeah, it just I'm pretty much limited to what I can do, because I'm not, I don't have the skills to do that, and probably never will. The young guy, sure, I'm sure he's done it plenty of times with his 1086. I'm sure he's replaced that clutch a couple times. But, he's got a shed that or a shop that he can do it in. He's got the tools to do it, and stuff. So, our farm is way too small for that. And, it would take years to save up the kind of money to even build a shop, which is in the plans as well, to have a shop built. But it's more or less just going to be for storage too, so I can put stuff in it and not have to worry about it being out in the weather. So, but I also need a new barn built too. So, but that's just going to be a simple pole barn too, because we don't need anything fancy with that. So, but gotta have more cattle first. So definitely I do. I ain't gonna be able to do that on just measly 2 fucking cows. So, gotta have more. But then the more you have, the more hay it's going to take, and the more ground you need to feed them all throughout the summer. So, yeah. But it is what it is. So we'll just make do with what we got for now, and try to do, every year we try to improve on something. Like this year we expanded out a little bit, give our cows a little bit more ground to eat, because we kind of had to. And that's kind of the reason why I want to get our own haying equipment too, because I want to have all the hay for ourselves, because we need it too. We need all the hay that we can get as well, so that we don't have to go spend the damn money on having to go buy hay from the young guy or anybody else for that matter. So if we can produce our own hay and not have to buy hay, well then we're not taking hay from anybody else, and then they don't have to go buy hay later on then either. So it works out for everybody that way then, Even just for us making our own hay ourselves would be a hell of an improvement. Because now it's just more stuff that you got to maintain, but, the other I looked at, had lots of good new parts put in it, so should be a fairly good baler. But that's if I get it, but we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, anyways, guys, just wanted to give you guys an update to what the hell's going on, and got some rain and some heavy smoke. This is kind of getting old too. This is like what, day 2 or 3 now of this crap. So it's really been bad the last, like, maybe close to 24 hours now. It's getting pretty bad now. So, but you can smell it. So you can smell it and you can see it. And then this morning it was even worse, but I think that was just, there was fog mixed in with this too, because it was really thick. You couldn't even hardly see anymore. So, but now it's all disappeared. So now I'm pretty positive that was just fog. But whatever. But hey, whatever. We got a good ½ inch of rain there, so that's kind of nice to have. So the grass will attempt to grow back, but then if you don't keep getting it, it's just going to die off again anyway. But got to have a few day breaks in between that just so we can get things done. So I was hoping to haul trees today, but with the way the weather's looking, I doubt I'm going to. And I imagine the ground's still a little spongy in some areas, especially on the trail, because that's not going to dry out as quick. So because of all the trees. So, well, whatever. With time, I guess we'll get it done. So, anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. So, I guess have a good day and stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care easy.